Africa, 16 nations sealed away from the sea, their borders end before the tides begin, but each has carved its own path inland. Ethiopia, never colonized, once an empire of kings and churches older than Europe's cathedrals. It lost its coastline in 1993 when Eritrea broke away. Since then, Ethiopia has been landlocked, the most populated landlocked country on Earth. No navy, no ports. Yet it survives. It still fields one of Africa's largest armies. It still controls the Nile's headwaters. It even runs on its own time. 13 months, a clock 6 hours behind the rest of the world. A country cut off from oceans and from calendars. Uganda. The Nile begins here. At Jinja, Lake Victoria spills northward. It looks like a sea, wide, endless. Fishermen call it the inland ocean. But it's not an exit. Every drop must snake north through Sudan, Egypt, and politics before it touches the Mediterranean. Uganda feels coastal, but it's not. Rwanda, Burundi, two nations of ridges and valleys. The Congo River starts here, so does the Nile. Two great arteries of Africa, flowing in opposite directions, west to the Atlantic, north to the Mediterranean. But neither river gives them an outlet. The water leaves. The countries stay trapped. Lesotho, a kingdom in the clouds, the only nation entirely above 1,000 meters elevation, surrounded completely by South Africa. Its nickname, the Kingdom in the Sky. No ships, no coast. Yet Lesotho exports something rarer, water, pumped downhill into South Africa's cities. Its rivers flow like blue pipelines, more valuable than ports. Chad, once home to an inland sea, Lake Chad stretched 25,000 square kilometers. Now it's less than a tenth of that. Satellite images show a ghost lake retreating year by year. Fishermen chase shrinking shores. Villages once lakeside now sit kilometers from water. A landlocked country losing even its inland sea. Mali, Niger, empires once thrived here. Timbuktu, Gao, cities of gold and manuscripts. Camel caravans carried salt across the Sahara. The Niger River still winds through them, feeding millions. But its course twists inland before it finally finds the Atlantic, far from Mali and Niger's borders. They were once rich because of trade. Now they are trapped by geography. Zambia, Zimbabwe, no coastline, but they share thunder. Victoria Falls, the smoke that thunders. A curtain of water taller than skyscrapers. The Zambezi River is their power, their tourism, their pride. Landlocked, yet home to one of the greatest spectacles on Earth, Central African Republic, a country in the very center of Africa. Its rivers feed the Congo and the Nile, but none escape the continent without crossing borders. It has no coastline, no railways to the sea. Its capital, Bangui, sits isolated, closer to jungles than to ports. South Sudan, the youngest country on Earth, born in 2011, it inherited oil reserves, but no pipeline of its own. Every barrel must flow north, through Sudan, before it reaches the Red Sea. South Sudan has resources, but its lifeline runs through someone else's land, Botswana. The desert rules here, but once a year, the Okavango Delta floods. Rain from Angola flows south, vanishing into the Kalahari Sands. For a few months, Botswana grows its own inland ocean. Elephants wade, lions hunt in water, hippos carve channels. A landlocked country with a seasonal sea. Eswatini, small, mountainous, ruled by a king with near absolute power, wedged between South Africa and Mozambique. No ports, but sugar plantations spread across valleys, feeding distant markets. An inland monarchy exporting sweetness to the world. Burkina Faso, once called Upper Volta, named for the rivers that run through it. None of them reach the ocean here, but they carve lifelines across its landlocked plains. Burkina survives not by sea, but by the rivers that connect it invisibly to coasts far away. 16 African nations, 16 ways to live without tides. Asia, 12 nations locked inland, mountains, deserts, steppes, each with its own story of separation. Afghanistan, the world's crossroads, empires crossed here for centuries. Persians, Greeks, Mongols, British, Soviets, Americans. But none left it a port. It sits ringed by deserts and mountains. Every sea lies behind a neighbor. Every supply route is political. Every invasion stumbles on the same problem: isolation. Kazakhstan, the world's largest landlocked country, Bigger than all of Western Europe combined, it has the Caspian Sea. But the Caspian is no ocean. It's a lake sealed off from the world. Tankers sail across it, ports dot its shore. But every ship is trapped inland, circling forever. Uzbekistan, one of only 2 doubly landlocked countries on Earth. Every neighbor is landlocked too. To touch the sea, you must cross at least 2 borders. It was once the heart of the Silk Road. Samarkand and Bukhara glittered with scholars, traders, and mosques. Now, it is a nation of deserts and memory, with rivers that vanish before reaching any coast. Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, mountains swallow both. Over 90% of their land lies above 1,000 meters. Glaciers crown their peaks. Snowmelt feeds rivers that run into Central Asian plains. Those rivers irrigate cotton, wheat, and rice. Their water is wealth. But like their borders, it never reaches an ocean. Nepal, Bhutan, locked in the Himalayas. Nepal carries Everest, the roof of the world. Bhutan guards valleys where monasteries cling to cliffs. Their rivers carve south toward India, but neither country owns a coastline. Both survive on altitude and on culture. Tourists climb mountains. Pilgrims climb temples. No one sails away. Mongolia, endless grassland, bitter winters, horses by the millions, sandwiched between Russia and China. Landlocked, but once the center of the largest land empire in history. Genghis Khan's riders reached oceans thousands of kilometers away. Today, Mongolia's herders remain inland, seas replaced by steppe horizons. Laos, the only landlocked nation in Southeast Asia. It clings to the Mekong River like a lifeline. Trade, transport, even power, all tied to the river's flow. But the Mekong Delta lies in Vietnam. Laos sees the current, never the sea. Armenia, one of the oldest nations on Earth, first to adopt Christianity in the year 301. Churches older than most European states still stand here. But it has no coast, and its neighbors are often hostile. Isolation is as much political as it is geographical. Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan. Both sit on the Caspian Sea, a body of water so vast it feels like an ocean. But the Caspian is closed, endorheic. Its waves never touch the world's seas. Oil rigs rise from its surface, tankers drift across it, but the ships here are trapped, forever inland. 12 Asian nations, each with borders that deny them tides, each surviving with rivers, mountains, deserts, or memory. Europe, the continent of seas, Mediterranean, Baltic, Black, North. Yet 17 nations here never touch the tide. Switzerland, mountains cut it off, but money makes it global. It has no navy, but it has banks that sail across the world. It sits in the heart of Europe, but its neutrality has made it an island of peace. The Rhine is born here in alpine ice, but once it leaves, Switzerland no longer commands its path to the sea. It trades with oceans it never sees. Austria, a landlocked empire that once ruled coasts from Trieste to Dubrovnik. Today, Vienna is inland, wrapped in the Alps and the Danube. But Austria still dreams maritime. Its navy fought battles in the Adriatic less than 120 years ago. It lost the sea, but not the memory. Czechia, also once part of that empire, now locked in Central Europe. It has no ports, but it claims a navy of its own, not fleets, symbols. A river patrol, born of Czechoslovakia's past, still floats in Prague. They don't cross oceans, they guard memory. Hungary, no sea. But it has Lake Balaton, the largest lake in Central Europe. Hungarians call it the Hungarian Sea. Windsurfers, sailors, fishermen, they treat it like a coast. Hungary invented its own inland shoreline. Slovakia, no ocean, but the Danube cuts through its capital, Bratislava. From there, ships can travel 3,500 kilometers downstream to reach the Black Sea. It's a landlocked country with a passport to water. The river is its highway. Serbia, also bound to the Danube, Belgrade has been fought over for centuries because of it. Ottomans, Habsburgs, and Slavs clashed where the Danube meets the Sava. Serbia is landlocked. But its rivers make it strategic. North Macedonia, once part of Yugoslavia, which had Adriatic ports. When the country broke apart, Macedonia was left inland. Now its main maritime connection is through Thessaloniki in Greece. It relies on neighbors for tides. Kosovo, Europe's youngest country. It declared independence in 2008. It has no sea, its recognition is partial, its borders contested, its landlocked fate ties it closer to Albania's Adriatic coast, even if the line stops short. Liechtenstein, a tiny principality between Austria and Switzerland, doubly landlocked. To reach the sea, you must cross at least 2 borders. One of only 2 countries on Earth with this fate. Its army disbanded in 1868. Since then, its only defenses are mountains and wealth. Luxembourg, small, rich, hemmed in by Belgium, France, and Germany. It has no coast, but some of the highest GDP per capita in the world. Luxembourg proves that ports aren't the only route to power. Andorra, wedged between France and Spain, high in the Pyrenees. No sea, but centuries of isolation gave it survival. It was too high for invaders to bother, too small for empires to waste time on. Now it thrives on tourism and banking, mountains instead of coasts. San Marino, the oldest republic on Earth, founded in 301 AD. Still standing, still without a sea. It's surrounded entirely by Italy, yet it outlived kingdoms, dukes, popes, and empires. Isolation was its armor. Vatican City, the smallest country in the world, completely inside Rome, no coastline. But its influence crosses oceans without ships. It controls one of the largest networks of diplomacy on Earth, a landlocked state that rules through faith, not fleets. Belarus, wide plains, no coast. Its rivers flow north to the Baltic, south to the Black Sea, but every drop must cross borders before touching tidewater. Belarus's position has always been about land, invasion routes, battlefields, supply chains. Moldova, Europe's poorest nation by GDP per capita, also one of its most isolated. It lost access to the Black Sea when it gave up Bessarabia. Now it relies on Romanian and Ukrainian ports. Moldova's wine flows outwards. The sea never flows back. South America, a continent of long coastlines. But 2 countries miss them. Paraguay, locked in the heart of South America, but not helpless. The Paraguay River connects it to the Paraná, and from there to the Atlantic. Ocean ships sail upstream to Asunción, the capital. Paraguay is landlocked, but ocean-going ships visit its shores. Bolivia once had a coast, lost it to Chile in the War of the Pacific, 1879. The Atacama Desert, saltpeter mines. Bolivia's defeat stripped it of its Pacific outlet. To this day, it calls itself a country with a captive coast. Its navy still trains, its sailors still patrol Lake Titicaca, waiting for a coast that may never return. 2 nations, both inland, both proving that South America's rivers and memories matter more than maps. Special ones now. Doubly landlocked countries. Only 2 exist, Uzbekistan, Liechtenstein. Both are surrounded entirely by other landlocked nations. To reach the sea, you must cross at least 2 borders. It's the deepest form of inland exile. Navies without seas. Bolivia has one. It lost the Pacific, but not the pride. Paraguay has one. Its navy sails rivers, guarding trade. Switzerland once had naval patrols too, on lakes, not oceans. Landlocked doesn't always mean shipless. Population extremes. Ethiopia, the most populated landlocked country, over 120 million people. Vatican City, the least, just around 800 residents. From the crowded highlands to the smallest state on Earth, both without a coastline. Economic extremes. Switzerland and Luxembourg, among the richest per capita in the world. Burundi and Malawi, among the poorest, all cut off from coasts. Proving geography is not destiny. Rivers as seas. Some landlocked countries treat rivers as oceans. Paraguay's Paraná, Zambia's Zambezi, Botswana's Okavango. They've all made inland waters into coasts of their own. Landlocked nations are more than dots in the middle of maps. They are experiments in survival. Empires lost their tides. Kingdoms never had them. Some made rivers their roads. Some made mountains their armor. Some stayed poor. Some became rich beyond imagination. None saw the ocean, but all found a way to matter anyway. If you want more, hit subscribe and let's keep exploring together. See you in the next of Earth Basics.